For several hundred years at least, most Christian art has depicted Jesus of Nazareth, a first-century Middle Eastern Jewish man, as a tall, lean, flowing-haired white guy who looks like he has never skipped leg day and has a hell of a core workout. Historically, that's most certainly inaccurate. But culturally, we just agreed to let it happen generation after generation because it was easier than confronting who he probably actually looked like this. And this week, the Trump administration is pretty much doing the same thing at the 250th birthday celebration with our founding fathers. Except this time, they're using artificial intelligence to give our founders a yes makeover. And it's happening at the Founders Museum, a partnership between the White House's official 250th anniversary task force and PragerU, a media company that openly admits it's not an accredited university, yet it spreads fake educational content like telling everyone that slavery wasn't all that bad. Anyway, this project features 82 portraits, over 40 AI-generated videos of dead historical figures narrating their own lives in words they obviously never said because they've been dead for 250 years, well before generative AI even existed. And actual historians who actually study this actual stuff for a living and don't just make crap up so that they can justify their horrible existence have picked the whole thing apart. Because the men in these AI portraits, they're nearly interchangeable. Identical blue coats, identical white ruffled collars, most posed with one hand thoughtfully on their chin, a pose virtually no one actually used in 18th century portraits. One historian called this a, quote, cut and paste hatchet job. The clothing styles, they're not even consistent for history because the AI clearly can't tell apart the 1890s and the 1770s. And weirdly, the 4 women that are included here, PragerU including women in something, shocker, they are dubbed the Ladies of the Revolution. They look nothing like the men. They're a strange, hyper-realistic, almost uncanny style, as if the AI was handed a completely different prompt for women than it was for men. They're trying to make them hot, maybe? I don't know. Phyllis Wheatley, this country's first published black poet, a formerly enslaved woman who actually held a pen in her real portraits, and that was like a key to her portraits, is now reimagined with her arms crossed defensively. A pose she never struck, ever, in a photo. And it's not just the pictures. Because one of the AI videos has a digital John Adams paraphrasing a modern conservative media talking point, almost word for word. Something to the effect of facts not caring about your feelings. The actual John Adams, by the way, has been dead since 1826. He definitely doesn't care about your feelings now. And the commitment to fake imagery doesn't stop at dead presidents, because this week Trump, he's been posting stuff all over the place, like the picture of himself on the Truman balcony with a golden eagle statue as America's 250th birthday gift. And the image, it's got that same warped, plasticky, smooth giveaway as every other AI render that's come out of this White House. And by the way, what they've done to the women in these AI portraits is crazy. These women looked like women who had worked in their time. Now they're trying to make them essentially Mar-a-Lago face. And by the way, quick aside, because it belongs in the same pile, the White House is reportedly doing 250 pardons to mark this birthday. Just choosing numbers because it sounds patriotic rather than because anyone thought through who actually deserves clemency. And that just gets added to the list of ridiculous things around this 250th anniversary, especially the stuff that just has a weird 250 in front of it just because it looks nice. The $250 bill, the UFC fight, you name it. And by the way, this AI SLOP, you're paying for it because PragerU received a $14 million grant from a federal agency, the Institute of Museum and Library Services, plus another $10 million more from Freedom 250, Donald Trump's organization itself. Senate Democrats did write a letter months ago asking where this money's going and whether or not it's being mixed with private or even foreign donations. They never got a response. Another government watchdog group, they sued over a public records request for the same information, and they've been stonewalled this whole time. And look, this isn't PragerU's first rodeo with public money and a ghostly paper trail. The same organization's behind a fleet of taxpayer and donor-funded freedom trucks touring our country with similar AI crap content, and historians have raised the exact same complaints there. All they're showing is this narrow, triumphant, white version of American history that conveniently skips our founders' roles as slave owners. And it leans hard into this religious framing that, if you ask any historians, the founders themselves were extremely worried would be too divisive to build a government around. That is why we have the First Amendment. So what we end up with now is this historically inaccurate, taxpayer-funded AI content putting fabricated quotes in dead men's mouths, trying to make former first ladies look cuter, built by a company that won't say where the money came from, all in service of a birthday party for our president, for our country, whose actual founders, by the way, were a lot more complicated, a lot more varied in circumstance, and a lot less symmetrical than a chatbot would have you believe. So tell me, out of all the AI crap you've seen from this Trump regime, out of all this patriotic crap going around, what's the most absurd one you've seen? Drop it in the comments and let me know. And look, 250 years ago, this country was founded by actual complicated, slave-holding, yet occasionally brilliant human beings. It's messy, and that messy story deserves to be told. This year, though, the government decided the better birthday gift was a chatbot's idea of a stock photo. So subscribe, because somebody needs to keep a real museum of what is actually happening in this country.